Herschel Walker. Do you love Herschel Walker? Okay. Do you love America? Do you love the Constitution? I love this guy. He is salt of the earth. We got to get him elected. But I got to tell you, he lied to you. Herschel Walker lied to you. He said, Herschel don't dance or sing for anybody. Here's the truth. I was back there with his wife. Herschel danced with the Fort Worth Ballet Company. He ballet danced when he was a cowboy. And that's the truth. God bless him. Herschel Walker. He is a star, and we've got to get him elected. Yes, yes, and yes. All right, now, I only have a few minutes. Here's the bottom line. They told me not to stand somewhere. I don't know where it is, so I'll stand over here. We live in the greatest country in the world. We live in a country where we rely on the government to protect us. But right now, that's up in the air as to whether or not our government is protecting us. Because there is a civil war raging in this country. There is a civil war raging by those on the left who believe that violence is the way for them to get their way. We cannot allow this to happen, but it is happening because the government that is supposed to restore law and order, that is supposed to assign blame, that is supposed to right the wrongs and demand consequences, is doing none of that right now. So what am I talking about? I took some notes here, and I want to be real clear on what we're going to talk about. Our government is supposed to deliver justice. I don't believe it is right now. It started on May 2nd of this year, when a draft opinion of a Supreme Court decision of Dobbs versus Mississippi was leaked, in itself a crime. The leaking of that decision was a crime. It was an affront to the court. It was an affront to the institution of the United States Supreme Court, and there is allegedly an investigation going on. But what that leak did was it allowed the left to come at us and to come at America in a way that they feel will pressure the justices and change the opinion. Now let's get down to brass tacks here. Roe versus Wade in 1973 decided that the right to an abortion was a constitutional right. It was reaffirmed in Casey in 1992. The draft opinion by Justice Alito and 5 members of the Supreme Court says Roe was wrong. Roe was wrong and Casey was wrong. That in fact, abortion is not a constitutional right. It is not implicit in the constitutional right to privacy. Why is it not implicit? It is not implicit because there's a third party. Because there is a baby. And the third reason, and I want you to remember this for when people argue with you, the third reason it is not implicit in the concept of our tradition and ordered liberty. So what does that mean? Number one, it's not in the Constitution. Number two, it's not implicit in any of the constitutional rights because there's a baby involved. A fetus, baby, you know what? Whomever you're arguing with, let that one go. The third, there is nothing in our tradition or our culture that says that abortion needs to be protected. In fact, from the time of the common law, abortion was illegal. Our history and our tradition as Americans makes clear abortion is illegal. So what Alito said was, we're going to return it to the states, and we're going to let the states decide. But the lunatics on the left, this was not good for them. And so there's a few women I want to mention: Ruth and Jane and Nancy. Now, the first Ruth was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, essentially, Roe's going to be overturned. There is no basis for the Roe decision. This is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She admitted it herself. And yet there's a group called Ruth Sent Us. Those are the women dressed in red, the handmade protesters. They go in front of Justice Amy Coney Barrett's house, and they say that Amy Coney Barrett doesn't know anything about full-term pregnancies because she's an adoptive mother. That's a lie. She is an adopted mother, but she delivered 5 kids naturally, okay? These people, the truth doesn't matter to them. And Ruth's organization is the organization that sends the people out with the drums and the megaphones to harass the justices at their homes. It is a federal crime to protest in front of Supreme Court justices' home in an effort to get them to change their opinion or influence them. Title 18, Section 1507 of the United States Code. Period. End of the story. Merrick Garland, who is the Attorney General of the United States, should be fired. He is a political operative. He says all the right words, and that night that they arrested the man from California with a Glock and 2 magazines and ammunition and a pistol light and a knife and zip ties and everything else, that night we were on the 5. And I said, they should be arresting everyone tonight based upon what's going on. That was 10 days ago. They're still doing it. They're still protesting. He will not enforce the law, and that is what's going on in this country. If it's part of the left, they get a pass. If it's the right, if you were, and you know what? I want to be clear on this. January 6th, if you violated the law, I'm a prosecutor, I'm a judge, it's in my blood, you go to jail, all right, if it's serious. But you don't put them in solitary confinement for 6 months for trespass. Enough. Enough of this unequal justice. So then you've got Jane's revenge. I don't know who the hell Jane is, and I don't care, and I'm not going to look it up because I only have a couple minutes left. All right? Now, these are pro-abortion militants who say that Roe was correctly decided. They are an anarchist extremist group. They are firebombing and vandalizing pro-life pregnancy centers. And I want to tell you about these pregnancy centers. They're not there saying, keep the baby, keep the baby. Maybe they are, some of them. But they're there providing young women or a woman who's pregnant, who may not have a car seat, who doesn't have a support system, who needs a friend. They are there to help other people. And they are throwing Molotov cocktails, they're firebombing them, they're painting, if abortion isn't safe, then neither are you. Blood, red paint. This has to stop, but no one's stopping them. And Nancy, good old Nancy, I'm sick of dumping on her. Nancy Pelosi, she says when asked about their doing all this, Jane's revenge and Ruth Sent Us, she says, Republicans, this is a quote, are politicizing the abortion issue by blaming Democratic rhetoric for a spate of violent attacks. No, we're not blaming the rhetoric. We're blaming them for the violent attacks, but they're not being arrested. They're under investigation. And that genius, Joe Biden, do you know what he said? The night, I'm supposed to stand over here, I think. The night after that California guy was arrested for the attempted assassination of a Supreme Court justice, he said, yeah, there's a mini revolution going on. And Chuck Schumer is the one who said a few months back, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, you have unleashed the whatever, and you will pay the price. They are inciting violence, but they're not being held to the same standard as we are. All right, so here's the bottom line, because I'm out of time. I just want to read this manifesto. They gave me 46 seconds. This is from Jane's Revenge. Your 30 days, this is our manifesto. Your 30 days expired yesterday. We offered you an honorable way out. You could have walked away. But now the leash is off. And we will make it as hard as possible for your campaign of oppression to continue. We have demonstrated how easy and fun it is to attack you. Rest assured that we will again. And those measures may not come in the form of something so easily cleaned up as fire and graffiti. This is an organized criminal enterprise, folks. This is a RICO action. So I end where I started. The government is there to protect us, or is it? The road to the majority is essential if you believe that we have rights, that we were founded as a Judeo-Christian nation, then you are responsible for fighting peacefully to the end to make sure that this nation remains the same nation as it was founded. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.